Keir Starmer's response to claims that he has engaged in a class war is they isolate, they highlight the delicate balancing act that his Labour government is performing between progressive taxation and broad public acceptance. And facing criticism over the Labour Party's reintroduction of inheritance tax on agricultural properties impacting estates worth over £3 million and not giving a sufficient lead-in for people to be able to make alternative arrangements, and VAT on private schools with the same issue, that the knee-jerk imposition of this doesn't give people time to make alternative arrangements. Starmer insists that these measures are not punitive but necessary for equitable investment in public services. His claim of understanding farmers' concerns, particularly because his first job was on a farm, underscores his insistence that he isn't involved in class warfare, isn't involved in starting some sort of class warfare, because of this claim that he has a rural upbringing and his first job was on a farm. It's all been met by very mixed reactions. I think is the most polite description. Critics, including the Labour peer Baroness Malalieu, and protesting farmers, argue that these policies show a disconnect from rural and wealthier communities, suggesting that the reforms could exacerbate financial strain and lead to land sales and have impacts on businesses across the country. And this debate reflects deeper undercurrents of class politics in the UK. While Starmer positions his fiscal policies as a fair response to public service funding gaps, opponents perceive them as targeting wealthier demographics, echoing historic movements of class conflicts such as Mrs Thatcher's confrontations with the mining unions, and the framing of VAT on private schools as a funding for state education resonates with middle and working class aspirations but unsettles those who view it as overreach. The problem with all this is that the defence for these spending or for these tax hikes is that more money is going to go onto improving public services. So you have to wait and see whether or not those public services actually improve. And during that time, farmers may well find that their farms, that they're forced to sell their farms or forced to split up their farms, and children whose parents are scrimping and saving to pay for the private education because they don't have the money to move into a better catchment area, these people are going to suffer. And are they suffering needlessly? And why are they suffering when other people are not suffering? It's not true that it's one rule for all, because it isn't. These are targeted, nasty taxes. And the tractor tax and the VAT on private schools, these are the thin end of the wedge. And the implications of Labour's approach stirred discussions on whether these measures signify a shift towards class-based politics or a recalibration to support a broader base. As protests unfold, Starmer's assertions of understanding rural needs will be tested against the tangible efforts and the real effects on agricultural communities and on the broader economy. The question remains, can Labour champion fairness without reigniting class division?